my name is Miss Caitlyn and I'm here at the West Windsor Ranch, and today we're going to do a special story time about Groundhog's Day. So Groundhog's Day happens every year on February 2nd, and what happens is the groundhog comes out of his hole and he sees his shadow. That means that there's going to be 6 more weeks of winter. So let's read a story about Groundhog's Day. Now we're going to read Double Trouble Groundhog Day by Bethany Roberts, illustrated by Lorinda Bryan Cawley, and this is being read with permission from Henry Holt & Company. Double Trouble Groundhog Day. One fall evening on Weather Vane Mountain, the groundhog family gathered in their burrow. They were enjoying one final filling feast before their long winter nap. The twins, Gregory and Greta, squabbled over the last piece of pumpkin pie. "I got it," said Gregory. "I got it first," cried Greta. Gregory poked Greta. Greta bumped Gregory. Gregory tweaked Greta's tail. Greta pulled Gregory's ear. "Twins," said Dad Groundhog, shaking his head. "Double trouble," said Granny Groundhog with a smile. Late breaking news, late breaking news. Grampy Groundhog stood up and clinked his glass. "There's a change in the wind," he announced. "As you know, every year on the 2nd day of February, I pop out of the ground. If I see my shadow, there will be 6 more weeks of winter. If I don't see my shadow, we'll spring into spring." Gregory stopped poking Greta to listen. Greta stopped bumping Gregory to listen. "But I am getting old and a bit under the weather," said Grampy. "So I'm turning our family forecasting job over to one of you young'uns." The twins jumped up and down. "I'll do it," cried Gregory. "No, I want to do it," cried Greta. "Me," said Gregory. Me, cried Greta. "We will draw straws," said Granny Groundhog. "The one with the longer straw gets the job." Gregory pushed his glasses back on his nose. "I'll be in all the newspapers," he said. "I'll be on TV," Greta said. She danced a happy star dance all around the room. "Greta, you pick," said Grampy. Greta stopped dancing, squeezed her eyes tight, and wished. Then she picked a straw. "I get the job!" crowed Gregory. "I'll be famous!" He looked at himself in the mirror. "Gregory the Great!" "Gregory the Gross!" said Greta. "Poor loser!" said Gregory. Greta stuck out her tongue. Gregory chased Greta with a pillow. "Twins?" said Mom Groundhog, shaking her head. "Double trouble," said Grampy with a wink. "Time for bed," said Dad Groundhog. "The world is counting on you, Gregory." "You betcha," said Gregory, brushing his teeth. "Gregory the Great, world-famous forecaster, preparing for bed." Greta rolled her eyes. Gregory set his alarm clock for February 2nd. Soon, everyone was sound asleep, except Gregory. "Let's see," he thought. "If I see my shadow, I say spring will come soon. No, that's if I don't see my shadow. If I don't see my shadow, I say it will be winter for 6 more weeks. No, that's if I do see my shadow." Gregory drifted off to sleep. In his dreams, weather maps swirled, umbrellas had teeth, and giant mittens chased him. Still sleeping, Gregory slowly got out of bed and popped out of the hole. He stood on a stump and waved his eyeglasses. 6 more shadows, he shouted. "Winter is springing soon." Then he crawled back under his warm quilt and fell into a deep sleep for the rest of winter. Ring! The alarm clock rang. Greta woke up. It was February 2nd, but Gregory was still asleep. "Gregory, wake up!" cried Greta. "You have to forecast the weather." Gregory moaned. "I'm so tired." Greta danced a wake-up dance around the room. Gregory plopped his pillow over his eyes. Greta tickled him. Gregory pulled the covers over his head. Greta blew a trumpet. "Troot, troot, troot!" Gregory mumbled. "If you don't get up," said Greta, "how will farmers know when to plant crops? How will fathers know if they need fishing rods or fireplace logs? How will mothers know if they should pack picnics or bake bread? And how will children know if they need umbrellas and kites or sleds and mittens?" "Umbrellas with teeth," Gregory mumbled. "Giant mittens." "Umbrellas don't have teeth and mittens are small," said Greta. "You must have had a bad dream. Are you getting stage fright?" "I'm a little nervous," admitted Gregory from under the covers. Gregory rolled over and opened one eye. Then he opened the other eye. Everything was blurry. "Where are my glasses?" he asked. "Where did you put them?" asked Greta. "I don't know. All I can remember is something about shadows," said Gregory. They looked under the quilt. They looked inside the dresser. They looked in his slippers. They looked everywhere, but Gregory's glasses could not be found. "This gets worse and worse," moaned Gregory. "How can I see my shadow if I can't see my own paw in front of my face?" "I'll help you," said Greta. "Hurry, the world is waiting." Greta grabbed Gregory, and together they scrambled out of the hole. Lights flashed, cameras whirred, reporters scribbled. "Am I seeing double?" asked Mayor Marva Moose. "Hey, there are 2 groundhogs," cried the TV crew. "So what's your prediction?" asked reporter Jack Rabbit. Tell us, shouted the crowd. "There is no shadow," Greta whispered into Gregory's ear. Gregory's knees shook. He took a deep breath. "There is no shadow," he squeaked. "Spring will come soon," added Greta. "Spring! Hooray!" shouted the reporters. "Spring! Hooray!" shouted the crowd. "And here are your glasses right on this stump. You must have been sleepwalking," said Greta. Everyone waved groundhog banners. They held groundhog balloons. The band began to play the groundhog stomp. Everyone danced and sang. "Hooray for spring! Spring! Spring is coming soon!" Later that day, the twins went to the newsstand. The Groundhog Gazette headlines read, "No trouble, and that's double." "But I'd have been in trouble without your help," said Gregory. "We make a great team." "You betcha," said Greta, hugging him. Gregory waved the newspaper. "I'll show this to Grampy," he said. "No, I will, cried Greta. Greta tweaked Gregory's tail. Gregory pulled Greta's ear. Greta chased Gregory down the hill, around a bush, and into the burrow. "By thunder," said Grampy, squinting at the paper, "you 2 young'uns sure are fine forecasters. Not a shadow of a doubt." Gregory pushed his glasses back on his nose. I can't wait till we can do it again next year, he said. We? Asked Greta. Of course, said Gregory. Greta grinned. Make that double. The end. Now we're going to sing a little groundhog song. You can clap and pat your knees along with me. I'm a little groundhog sleeping in my hole. Will I see my shadow? Only I will know. If I see my shadow, more winter it will be. More cold and snowy days for you and for me. Great job! Now I'm going to teach you a finger rhyme about groundhogs. So can you all give me a thumbs up? And now you're going to pretend that this is a groundhog and he's going to hide behind your back. Here we go. Where is groundhog? Where is groundhog? Here I am, here I am. Shadows on this sunny day, frighten groundhog all away. Winter will stay, winter will stay. Let's do that again, and hopefully this time we don't see our shadow. Where is groundhog? Where is groundhog? Here I am, here I am. My oh my, a cloudy day. I will stay outside and play. Spring is near, spring is near. Yay, it's gonna be spring soon. That's great news. Now I'd like to tell you a story about a groundhog named Jeffrey. Every year on February 2nd, Jeffrey came out of his hole to see if he could find his shadow. So today's February 2nd, and let's see what he finds. He came out of his hole and he saw a shadow. Was that Gregory's shadow? No, that's a shadow of a little girl. So Gregory went back into his hole. He knew he had to come up and be able to forecast if there was going to be more winter or not. So he came up again out of his hole. And he looked and he saw a shadow. Was that Gregory's shadow? No, that's the shadow of a duck. So he went back in his hole. It was a cold winter and there was lots of snow on the ground, so he came out of his hole once again to look for his shadow. And he saw a shadow. Was that Gregory's shadow? No, that's a snowman's shadow. So he went back in his hole. Well, he was starting to get a little bit confused as to why he could not find his shadow. But he said, well, I've got one job to do. I'm going to do it. And he came out of his hole again. And he looked. Was that Gregory's shadow? No, that was the shadow of a horse. Wow, maybe someone's playing tricks on him. So Gregory came out of his hole once again. And he looked. Whose shadow did he see? A dinosaur! He was very scared, so he quickly went back into his hole. Well, everyone had gathered round and they were so worried that Gregory couldn't find his shadow, even though he found everyone else's shadow. So finally, he came out of his hole one last time. And when he looked around, he saw his shadow. Hooray, hooray, everybody shouted. 6 more weeks of winter! But at least Gregory found his shadow. The end. Well, I hope you enjoyed that Groundhog Day story time. And I'll see you real soon. Bye.